Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is honestly on something I thought I would never see. A subcompact 2011 pistol, and this is the Staccato CS. Yeah, the reason I thought I would never see a subcompact 2011 is generally the 2011s are designed for competition shooting. They're generally pretty large. There are compact versions of them, but they're designed for that world and that genre of shooting. So to have a subcompact one that I think is really designed for concealed carry is kind of cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if we get all of the features and all of the great shooting performance out of a gun that has been shrunk down for this application. But before we get into the things that I like and don't like, as always, I want to thank the people that make these videos possible. First and foremost is the owner of this really cool pistol who lent it to the channel for a review, my good friend D. You guys know he has an amazing collection, and once again I am humbled that I can borrow one of his fine firearms. I also want to thank my Patreons as always, because through their monthly donations and support they help keep the lights on around here. You guys know us firearm YouTubers are always in a constant battle with YouTube to keep this content coming, and they really help me. If you want to join my Patreon, there's a link in the description below. And as always, I want to thank my primary sponsor for all of these range reports who provide all of the ammunition, my good friend Mark from Brownworks. And yes, here I am to talk about Brownworks once again, my personal favorite grip company, because Mark over there is an artist. He's a craftsman making some of the finest grips out of a wide variety of exotic woods and materials for a wide variety of firearms. He can create grips with custom logos, custom engravings, custom textures. He can do laminate woods, and he's always coming up with new and creative ideas. Every one of the grips that he makes are one of a kind, one-off, specialty made just for you. So I'm going to put a link in the comment section below. I'm going to ask that you guys go over there, check out his website and see what he has to offer. But also remember, he is more busy creating these awesome custom grips for his customers, and he's not always updating his website. So you might have a gun that he can make grips for that might not be listed over there, and that is why I'm asking you to please contact him. Say, hey, I have this pistol that I want these awesome wood grips for. Can you make these? Can you make them this way? And I can almost guarantee you he can hook you up with a fine set of grips. So once again, please go over there and contact him. I know he has amazing customer service. He will definitely do his best to create the grips of your dreams. And when you contact him, please tell him thank you for supporting content creators like me, and tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. Alright, so let's talk about what this gun is. I've already told you, it is a subcompact version of the Staccato line. This is the model CS, I believe designed for concealed carry. It simply takes all of the awesome and loved features of the 2011 pistols and simply shrinks it down. Now, something I should note, and I had to learn this myself in a few of my Staccato reviews, is that Staccato actually has the trademark on 2011. So all of the other companies that make guns just like this are 2011 style pistols. It's kind of like Colt owns the rights to the AR-15. So any other company that makes an AR-15 style gun can only call it that, an AR-15 style gun. It's a forgery, or an M-forgery as some people call it. Well, this is a real 2011 because it is made by Staccato. And as I said, it's a subcompact version of their famous pistols that I think are really designed for competition shooting. So in a way, it's a subcompact race gun. Alright, so let's talk about the things that I like first. Well, I've already mentioned I like Staccatos and 2011s. Now, since Staccato is the OG maker of the 2011s, that is a big appeal to me. It's one of the reasons why I like Colt 1911s. They're the original manufacturers. I also like the fact that when I buy an AR-15 from Colt, it's a real AR-15. It's not a copy. Now, some people are going to say other companies make them better because obviously they charge a lot more, like Terran Tactical or Atlas Gunworks, and I totally get that those guns are amazing. But when you buy a 2011 from Staccato, you're buying the real deal. Now, when it comes to a subcompact gun that's designed for concealed carry, there's going to be a few options on this that I do like. Normally, when it comes to 2011 pistols, I actually like the metal grips on them. This one actually has the polymer lowers, and those are modular. A lot of people don't know that those can actually be taken off and replaced. Some companies make them out of metal, some make them out of polymer. For a carry gun, I definitely want it in polymer. This gun also sports a bull barrel, which is pretty common on a lot of the smaller 2011 and 1911 style pistols. I do like that. It does not use a barrel bushing. And in general, I really like the philosophy of this gun. While I am not personally a competition shooter, and therefore the larger 2011s don't always appeal to me, I definitely see their value, I definitely see the quality, but for me, having a gun of this size is appealing because it makes the 2011 something practical for me as an average gun guy. It might be a little bit on the pricey side for most, but I could actually see using this every day, going to the range and training with it because I could definitely carry it. So now let's talk about a couple of things about this gun that I don't like. And I know some of you guys are saying, wait, there's something about that gun he doesn't like? Well, actually, looking it over, there's really only one thing. And to be honest with you, it's nothing bad about the gun, it's just a personal preference. I actually feel that this gun does not need a red dot. Now, I understand why they do that cut for red dots, but personally, this is a pretty darn small gun. And once again, its philosophy is for concealed carry. So putting that red dot on there, I think gives it an extra place for the gun to snag. You might have some issues trying to find some holsters for it, and it adds a lot of bulkiness to it. I think for a concealed carry weapon, I don't think I would want that red dot on there. But obviously, if this was my gun, I could take it on there and put the original plate on there and it wouldn't be an issue. So when I say I don't like it, it's just a personal preference on how I would personally set up the gun. But I am reviewing the gun as I get it from the people that own it, and this is how it is set up. But the red dot, I'm not a big fan of. Now, I like red dots on a lot of 2011s, just not one of this size. But who knows, when I get it to the range, I may absolutely love it. But speaking of getting it to the range, let's go there now. We're gonna load this thing up. I can't wait to see what this thing shoots like. Is the trigger the same as all of the other 2011 pistols that I've shot in the past? Does it shoot like all of the other Staccatos where pretty much it's a tack driver? Well, we're going to find out. And as always, I'm going to set up the target at 7 yards and load up one of these 15-round magazines. Now, I do need to tell you that these targets were not the ones that I wanted to shoot at. Normally, I shoot at a typical silhouette target, sometimes an IDPA target. However, the range was low on targets today, and all they had for us were those hostage targets. So, because of the distances that I'm going to shoot at, I'm actually going to shoot at the hostage target because it's the biggest silhouette. And you guys can see the results, but I know it's the hostage. I'm not shooting the hostage on purpose, but I'm trying to use these targets as I normally would a regular silhouette. So bear that in mind. All right, so let's go to the range and see how this thing shoots. All right, and just to let you know, I was shooting for the center of that target, and obviously the gun's shooting a little bit low. I think it has to do more with the red dot than anything else, but I'm going to adjust that for the next shooting portion. So how did the gun perform? Well, the only negative thing I noticed was it does have a big flash, and that's to kind of be expected with such a short barrel. But when it comes to the recoil, it's pretty much negligible. It's awesome. It's like every other 2011 I've ever shot. And of course, the trigger is amazing because of course this is a carryover from a 1911 style trigger. And when you're paying this much for a gun, you expect it to be fine-tuned. And I definitely think that it is. I'm pretty happy with the grouping for a smaller gun, but the gun is very comfortable in my hand. All right, so now let's go ahead and double the distance. I'm going to adjust the red dot. I'm going to shoot for the center mass on this target again and see if I do any better. All right, so here we go. One more magazine and double the distance. All right, and that group definitely opened up a little bit and was to the left, but the elevation is better. And this just goes to show what I've always been talking about when it comes to red dots on such small guns. For me personally, I just don't shoot them as well. And some people are gonna say, Jason, you're a terrible shot, and that's perfectly fine. And other people are gonna say, you gotta go out and train. Well, I'm just an average gun guy, and this is the type of results that I'm getting from my own personal experience. Now, I can shoot red dots pretty good, but once again, it's a smaller gun. And for some reason, that doesn't always translate very well for me. But this is just my personal experience, and yours might vary. But I do want to give it another try. So let me load up another magazine. I'm going to use the red dot again, go for the same spot on the target, and see if I do any better. And there we go, that is a lot better. It just takes a little bit of time for me to get used to these red dots. Now I will say, as I have gotten older, I have come to appreciate optics, especially on rifles. And I definitely think they are huge game changers. But when it comes to pistols and red dots and various optics, for me, I have to take them on a case-by-case basis. And usually I like them on the larger guns, but not as much on the smaller guns. But I am getting used to this. All right, so the next test I want to do is the bench rest test, or essentially hold this gun up against a barrier, try to take as much of the human element out of it as possible, put the target out at about 20 or 25 yards and see what happens to this group. So now that I'm used to this red dot, I'm hoping good things are going to happen. So let's see. And the grip is a little bit bigger than I would want, and it's still shooting a little bit to the left for me. I'm starting to wonder if this thing's a Glock, because I always shoot Glocks a little bit to the left and down. But it's okay. It is a smaller gun, and I'm not expecting great accuracy from me personally at that distance, but it is performing, I think, practically well. All right, but because this is a concealed carry weapon, I want to see how fast I can change this magazine out. Now, when it comes to 2011 pistols, this is something I have been able to do many times very, very fast. It's something I honestly really like. Now, this gun does not sport one of those gigantic mag wells that you are used to seeing on those 2011 pistols. However, the bottom of this grip module is flared just a little bit, so I'm expecting to be able to do this kind of fast. But let's see what I can do, shooting it as fast as I can, changing this magazine out, and getting it back in action. And I seem to be able to shoot this gun really fast. That's because the trigger is really nice, and I was point shooting there and was able to get the magazine in and out of this gun really fast. So from a concealed carry standpoint, I love the features of this gun, and I think it would be a great option, especially if you had to use it in self-defense. So because of the way it performed, I'm liking this gun more and more all the time. And since, as I mentioned, this is a concealed carry gun, or I think a gun designed for concealed carry, we gotta make sure we can run hollow points in this. So, one more magazine, let me put some hollow points through this and just make sure they function, because sometimes when it comes to these higher end guns with tight tolerances, some of them don't like hollow points. I've discovered that with quite a few pistols, but with a Staccato, I'm expecting good results. So let's see what happens. And as expected, the gun ran great with no issues whatsoever. Now, I put about 3 or 4 magazines of hollow points through this at the range with no issue. Now, I have never had an issue with Staccato and hollow points. However, some of the higher end manufacturers with the pistols costing 2 or 3 times this amount, I actually have. And I think that has to do a lot more with the tighter tolerances. Now, Staccatos do have tight tolerances, but I think especially for a gun like this that's designed for concealed carry, they took great care to make sure those feed ramps were finely tuned to be able to handle the hollow points and feed them well. So I can definitely recommend this for concealed carry, and I think it fits that application great. So the next thing I want to do, in the last shooting footage I want to show you, is of my wife shooting this. Now, normally she's not really a big fan of 2011s. They're just really expensive big 1911s to her, but this is a smaller gun, and I'm curious to see how it's going to feel in her hand, what she would think about carrying it for personal protection. Would she have any issues with it? And how does it shoot for her? Well, we're about to find out. So let me load up another magazine, give her a chance to shoot it, and see what she thinks. Now, when it came to her experience, she actually shot it a little bit high and had to work it down to the center of the target, but she did have to get adjusted to the red dot. But she had the opposite problem. I shot low and she shot high. But overall, she liked the size, she liked the recoil, and I think when it came to all of the 2011s that she's ever shot, this one might be her favorite. And you guys know I always talk about she is grip sensitive. Many times when it comes to the textures of 2011s especially, or guns designed for competition, she doesn't like the textures because they're way too aggressive. However, the texture on this grip is really nice. It is definitely tacky. It is stippled great, but it is not overly aggressive, and she really did like it a lot. And she said she could see herself carrying it, especially if it was pink. But you guys know she likes pink guns. So what are my final thoughts on the Staccato CS, the subcompact 2011 pistol, double stack, chambered in 9mm. It is a race gun designed for concealed carry. I have to tell you, I'm really impressed by it. Now, if this was my gun, the red dot would be coming off. I really think I could shoot this well with just iron sights. I love the quality of it. I like the size of it. I like all of the options and how it's tailored for concealed carry. For me personally, not being a competition shooter, this 2011 has the most appeal to me. And I'm so glad that Staccato has come out with a 2011 in this size. It ran great for me. While my groupings weren't the best, I really think it has more to do with the red dot than the firearm itself. So on my star system, how would I rate the Staccato CS? Well, I would give it a very strong showing of 4.5 stars. Yeah, it ran great for me. I'm really excited to get to shoot it, and I'm really impressed with how it performed and its quality. It is everything that I would expect from Staccato, and I'm really happy with it. So 4.5 stars out of 5. Thank you, Dee, for lending this to the channel. I am always honored and humbled to get to shoot such great guns from your collection, and you have an amazing taste. So what do you guys think? Do you guys own any Staccatos? And does the CS interest you at all, especially because it is a subcompact and it is so small? Is this a gun you would want to carry, even though it is kind of expensive? So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching. And for many of the same reasons that I'm not really appealed,